familiar from April, so if you've heard some of this before, I apologize. Part of my job is to come and say it again, right? My name is Chrissy Thornton. I work for NAMI at the national level, headquartered in Arlington, Virginia. I live in Maryland. I'm originally a New Yorker, which is why the sweet tea and those, what do you call them, watermelons, are like very foreign to me. But I'm happy for you guys to have me back down here in Moultrie. It's really exciting always to come and learn about new communities. I love the materials that Lynn picked up from the chamber to let me know a little bit more about the history of your community. I am one of 4 national walk managers across the country that works specifically for the NAMI Walks program. We are in our 12th year, and over the past 12 years, we've been able to date raise over $76 million for NAMI state organizations and local affiliates. And what makes that important? The number, yes, but also the fact that they are unrestricted funds. So if you have kept up, you know that mental health care budgets have been drastically cut and in some communities almost eliminated. The unrestricted funds that come from the NAMI Walks fundraising and awareness campaign has really literally kept services in communities all across the country. So we're really, really excited about that. We continue to grow while other fundraising programs have not. The economy has really hurt many other national causes, but we attribute that to our grassroots process. And that's what we're here to talk about today. What it means to be a team captain, what we're asking you to do, what to expect, and how you can apply our successful grassroots process to what you're going to do here in Moultrie between today and Walk Day on September 27th. Is that okay? Before I go forward, let me remind those of you who may not have met me before that I actually started out as a walk manager. So back in 2007, I was Lynn for the state organization in Maryland. I worked for NAMI Maryland, and I ran the walk event there. So I want to tell all of you who may look and enjoy yourselves here and think that this is easy, that this is about the hardest job you could have ever assigned anybody to do. Mark can tell you the same thing. He's been doing it for a few years. When we met Lynn at our walk manager training in January, we just knew immediately some people really just have what it takes. She's a jewel of a person. I've enjoyed working with her. I've enjoyed getting those complaint calls about our website and those frantic, what can I do, website calls. She's a jewel of a person, and if anyone, along with the wonderful people on the board here, can make this happen, you all have selected the person who can. So let's just give her another round of applause. And then secondly, having worked with sites all across the country, typically I walk in and I inherit somebody, meaning they've assigned somebody to do the walk, and that's who I have to deal with. Not the case in Georgia. A couple of years ago, they actually gave me the opportunity to recruit, interview, and suggest a hire for the walk position for the state office. And so it wouldn't be a great event if I didn't get to embarrass Mark and say that I've watched him grow in his role and in his position. He's like the little brother I don't have. I'm so proud of what he has done and how he has grown into being the statewide walk coordinator. And I just want to, if somebody else can take that from him, ask him to come up and talk a little bit about what the walk does for Georgia on a statewide level and how Moultrie will play a part in it. And so I know he's going to turn red. That's my favorite part. But let's give him a round of applause.
Should I try to wear not red so it doesn't match this? I thought I was going to stay behind the camera too, so I wasn't expecting this. But no, we really were excited last year when Lynn and Brian Williams, they'd come to us at the annual conference and said, you know, we want to take the walk, we want to do this, we're doing a bunch of things in the community. It's really, we're doing a lot of great stuff. There's a lot of fire and passion down here for what's being done for mental health. And so, you know, they just kept with us, and we just knew from the passion and the commitment that it was going to be a success down here. And so even with the limited time frame, you know, there was a great success last year, and seeing everyone out here, we know what it'll do for the community as well around you know, Albany, Moultrie, and surrounding cities. As well as Lynn has been working with, you know, other parts in the South. Last year, they kind of stayed in this area here, but growing it to expand out to the coastal affiliates as well, to get them back and participate as well. So I thank Lynn for helping kind of get that South Georgia community all part as one. Really what it's going to be helping us do is, Joyce mentioned Ending the Silence. That's a brand new program. There's going to be CITU, things like that. They're going to be brand new programs that the increased awareness, increasing funds that are brought in will really help bring these brand new programs in and help educate and build awareness for people that had never heard of NAMI. It'll be whole new avenues for awareness for the organization and what can be done through mental health. And so the growth of this walk and the growth throughout the region and collaborations with the different partners and everything you have in the community is really going to be huge for helping the awareness grow, and then through the awareness helping the walk grow, and it'll just be a cycle that'll snowball and build to hopefully being the biggest walk in the state. So we're aiming to be, doesn't matter mental health or cancer or whatever it is, that's what we're aiming for here, with Lynn's help and with Chrissy's help. So good.
So NAMI walks, why are we here? Most of you know that we walk for two reasons and only two reasons. One is to build awareness, and the second is to raise funds. I'm the person that comes in and stresses the raise funds part. You guys usually get the awareness piece of it, and I have to come and rally you up to do the raising of funds. How many people in the room already know that 1 in 4 people are affected? Raise your hand if you know that. So that's everybody. 1 in 10 children. You know that. You know that when treatment and support are available, recovery is possible. We all know that, right? But we walk this year so people outside of the room can learn that. So that the people outside of the room who are suffering and not coming to support because of stigma, because they're shame, or because they're not educated, or because they don't know about the resources and the support in the community, so that they will know those statistics and they will feel comfortable to come and join your family of support. So it really has a lot to do, when we talk about grassroots, it has a lot to do with not us, but all of the people out in the community that don't know that there's help, that don't know that people can live successfully, that don't know that you all are here advocating for them to come and get the support. So what we are asking each of you to do is to step up in a position of leadership. I was so happy to hear Lynn read the list, and most of you are already team captains, and that's where you start. Our process does not look for 1 or 2 people to raise a whole lot of money. It doesn't work like that. In a grassroots way, we look at everybody doing a small part of the whole. And so we don't have a lot of our walks across the country that are shutting down major streets or happening, you know, with at big Capitol buildings. You guys are going to be at the courthouse, and we went to look at it. It's a lovely site. But most of our walks actually take place off the major roads, back in family-friendly parks, because we believe awareness is built primarily from now until walk day. And that's very difficult for people because they think walk day is the day that we're really going to build awareness. It's really from now until walk day, and it's really a one-on-one process. So we believe that when you approach somebody that you know and you say, "Hi, my name is Chrissy, how are you? Have you heard of NAMI?" No. You haven't? Oh. NAMI is a National Alliance on Mental Illness, and we serve to advocate, educate, and support people living with mental illness and their families. You know, we're having a walk here in Moultrie on September 27th. Would you either join my team or give? You'd make such a difference if you help out. I'll do both. Perfect. We believe that's the process. And we believe that every person that we have step up into a willingness to do that will help us be successful. It will help us raise the funds, and it will help us one-on-one raise the awareness we need. And so it's not necessarily always about telling your personal story. If you are ready to do that, we celebrate it, because the personal stories are touching and they let people know that they're not alone. But it's enough to talk about the good work that your coalition is doing here in the community to get people involved. Does that make sense to everybody? So what we're looking for every person to do as a team captain is to recruit people to walk on your team. What we don't want you to do is bunch up and be all on the same team, because when you do that, then we don't reach out into our network of personal friends and family and neighbors and coworkers. We kind of stick with who already knows about what we're doing. So we want you to recruit. Can you be on a team by yourself? Sure. Can you have 1 or 2 people? Sure. Can you have 50 or 60 people? Of course. But we work on an average, and our average team size is about 10 people. And when we look at that, we look at each person on the team raising a minimum of $100. This is why our model works. This is what makes us different from Komen or JDRS or these other great walk events that really require registration fees and require you to raise a whole lot of money. We look at each person attempting to raise a minimum of $100. Who here thinks they could possibly raise $100? Right. And if you have 10 people on a team on average, you'll have a $1,000 team. So that's our formula. 1 team captain, 10 on a team, 10 fingers, $100 each for a $1,000 team. So in actuality, for this walk, between Albany and the other affiliates that are involved, we are looking for at least 37 teams was our goal. 37 people to step up and be team captains. Now what we will have is we will have people who, with the best intentions, register and step up and aren't successful. And that's okay, because we will also have other people that step up and raise $4,000, $5,000, $6,000, $7,000, $8,000. And it all averages out, and we've seen that happen successfully over the 12 years. So we're looking for 37 people to step up as team captains and to be willing simply to talk, simply to tell people you're participating in the event. If you feel uncomfortable with that, we encourage people, obviously, to use the internet. People who use our website to raise money actually raise 80% more funds than people who do it in the old-fashioned door-to-door way. And the reason is because you can reach people that you don't have access to. So I'll tell you, for the past 4 years, I have not written an email, I have not written a letter, and I have not personally asked anyone to donate. But every of those years, I've raised and met my goal because I've made a simple 30-second video on my cell phone, putting my face to the cause, passionately asking people to help me and giving them my link. That way, when they don't give, I don't have to get mad, right? I don't have to feel rejection. And when they do give, it's such a surprise. What I will tell you is that people who have given to me have not been who I would have expected. It has not been the people who I see every day and that are the closest to me. It's been people I went to high school with that said, gosh, you didn't know this, but my mother had schizophrenia. Gosh, I haven't seen you since college, but the work you're doing is really wonderful, and I wanted to support you. And so using the internet to raise money, if you're comfortable with it, is really a great way to spread awareness in a far-reaching way. And so we do encourage that. And Lynn will be here available to help you use her, because it's her favorite thing, the website. She'll be here to help you guys master that. So being a team captain, you know, a lot of times we go out and we ask people to be a team captain. I know some of you aren't registered. I'm going to implore you to register. And here's why. Because there are people who aren't here today. So you're hearing this, you're hearing how the funds are going to be spent, you're hearing Lynn and Mark, and you have an advantage. You have materials in the folder. You have an advantage because now you know what we're asking. All we're asking you to do is try, and people typically don't try because they think it's time-consuming or they think they can't do it. I'm here to tell you anybody can do it. And the needs of your community. I sat in the visioning meeting with Joyce and the coalition members and Lynn, and the desires of the things they'd like to bring here to Moultrie and the surrounding counties are just some phenomenal things. So no fear of participating is more important than that. I mean, we can make such a difference, and you guys are really establishing yourselves to be able to have a great seat at the larger table of decision makers here in the county. So I'm going to ask you to please register. I'm going to ask Lynn to...
Can I just say something?
Yes.
Everything that the Mental Health Coalition has accomplished since we got started, not quite 3 years ago, we had zero funding. Zero. It just blows my mind to think about what we will be able to do through the funds that are raised by NAMI. This is our best hope to get enough money to really move forward. Even though we've done a lot with no money. It's amazing.
So you guys are going to have a big celebration on the 27th of September, and that's what we look at that as. We look at that as a day for us to come out and celebrate all the awareness we've built from now until then. So the hard work actually begins today, and you won't be alone. Our process is meant to be fun. I tell you, I go from site to site, and I speak to people, and I get to know people, and what I've learned over the course of the years I've been involved is that mental illness is not fun. It can destroy families when it's unsupported. It can, break bonds. You're talking about people who don't have family members who are isolated. It can be devastating. But the walk was built. It was put together to be fun. It was put together to be a community mental health event where we can all come out and celebrate, if nothing else, the fact that there's support available, that there's recovery possible in some cases, and when it's not possible, there's still education and support available to help people live successful lives. So we want to celebrate on that day, and I'm going to count on you guys to be the leaders because you're here to register if you haven't. Let's do it together. It should be fun from now until then. I know they have some great incentive prizes that are going to be offered and some things to keep it fun. And so that on September 27th, there won't be just us that knows the need for the services, but we'll trickle in people, each event at a time, so that next year this time, this event will be twice as big, and it won't be us, it'll be people we don't know. The year after, it'll be more people who have come to help and come to support, and that's really what the walk event is all about. So I just want to encourage you all to bring what you have to the table, because we need you, each and every one of you, and what you have and have to offer as part of the event. So thank you for having me. I'm going to actually ask Mark to review the folders because he put them together so lovingly, and I think he'd be the best person to kind of go through the materials before we close up.